The youngest guest on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil believes children need special care and attention as they will soon grow to learn on how you treat them when young. He loves children and has had some pretty young guests on the show. In this video, we take a look at some young guests on the Dr. Phil show who managed to shock both the audience as well as Dr. Phil. Stay tuned. 7-year-old Ryland. Kim and Ryan adopted Ryland from a drug-addicted mother, and at the time he was born, his skin was too sore due to the withdrawal. When he reached 18 months, Ryland would hold his breath until he passed out, and by the time he was 3, his parents knew they were in for a long ride. Ryland grew addicted to sharp objects and he took out a watermelon from the fridge and did the unimaginable. There were probably 10 knives sticking in the watermelon. When he was 4, he became more aggressive and started hurting animals and his siblings. He also threatened the entire family on several occasions. When he got to age 6, he took out his older brother's razor from the bathroom and cut off the tips of his fingers because the leader told him to do so. The leader was a robot in his head who told him to do such things. Kim and Ryan had already placed Ryland into 6 hospitals. They wanted to stay with him, but he was too terrifying. Some kids often insist they hear voices in their heads, directing them to do things. Whether the voices are real or not, they are cause for alarm. In Ryland's case, these voices were definitely caused by the trauma he had to go through soon after birth. It's sad, but it's really difficult to fix such problems unless with regular therapy. 12-year-old Angeline. There are several broken families, and all of these families have a terrible effect on the lives of the young kids who can't have a proper childhood due to a troublesome parent. Peace in the house is the most important thing for a successful and happy childhood and better future life for children. This is just one case where a young daughter wants a better life and a happy childhood for her and her brother. Angeline's parents were at war with each other, and they made her life and her brother's life miserable. They always talked to her about each other and said hurtful things about one another. Her dad caused her to start failing in school, and Angeline didn't have friends anymore because she didn't know how to talk to them. He turned her into a bad person, and Angeline always prayed that God would fix her situation, but nothing was changing. She wasn't saying that her dad was the devil, but he was going in the devil's direction. Angeline wrote to Dr. Phil, begged him to help her and get back her childhood and secure that of her little brothers. Dr. Phil sat down with Angeline to try and help her, and her dad and stepmom were present. They weren't pleased and watched the clip in dismay. Christian, the father, abused meth, and while he was high, he said harsh things to Angeline. Dr. Phil advised the little girl that she needed to focus on her life and leave the adults alone. It was a tough decision for Angeline, but she had to try. It's sad when a young kid who isn't even a teenager is forced to take a tough decision and change herself rather than her parents who seem to be always fighting. 12-year-old Anaska. Anger issues in kids are usually tantrums and not really dangerous. However, this case is different. This is another case of a young kid who could hear voices in her head. Anaska said that on a scale of 1 to 10, her anger is at 10, and when the anger level hits 10, you don't want to be anywhere near her. Her parents and her siblings were already scared of her because they already saw what Anaska was capable of doing. At 6 years old, she smashed her pet hamster, and Anaska wasn't remorseful when narrating the story. Her mom also showed her and her siblings some baby birds, and voices in her head told her that the baby birds would harm her family, so she took care of them. Dr. Phil tried to understand the voices in Anaska's head. She described one particular soldier who talked to her when she was about 10, but he died on the battlefield. The soldier named Mark supposedly helped her get out of bad situations, like when her siblings were nagging her. Anaska believed that she didn't see the soldier anymore because she was older, but he picked her because she was unique. Well, we can agree on that. Many people of her kind exist. Her parents may sometimes not realize it, but when they are young, children cry out for help using alarming methods. Anaska needs therapy or she's going to suffer from this condition for the rest of her life. Anyway guys, that's all for today. We'll bring you more shocking young guest stories on the Dr. Phil show in the next video as well, so make sure to stay tuned. Thanks for watching!